Hello, everyone. I'm here with Frank, the Grail Monster. You may have heard of him recently after he made some waves in the Funko community after he purchased the golden ticket Willy Wonka 2-pack for 100K. As far as I know, that is a record for a single pop item. Thank you for joining me, Frank. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just hanging out in Southern California. Beautiful day. Working. Standard Monday morning crap, to be honest with you.
Awesome, man. I love SoCal. I used to live in San Diego. Gonna go be visiting Orange County here in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited to go have some fun in the sun.
Awesome. Good for you, man. Yeah, I love San Diego. It's beautiful.
All right. So you recently purchased the Willy Wonka Golden 2-pack. It made the news, man. I was getting emails from my friends, from my family that know I collect Funko Pops. And they're always, they're always people that are like, man, you guys spend a lot of money on that kind of stuff. Is it worth anything? And when they saw that, obviously it cemented in their head, like, wow, these Funko Pops are no joke. So I kind of wanted to ask you, how did your friends and family react, if any of them know that you made this purchase?
Yeah, my dad was actually in town from New York. Actually from Delaware. He just moved to Delaware, but yeah, he was actually in town when I struck the deal and actually made the transaction. And he was just like, "What are you talking about? $100,000 for essentially a toy, you know?" And his response was funny because he's like an Italian New Yorker police sergeant, uh, retired now, but he was just like, "Do you want me to come with you? Like, I'll bring my gun." I'm just like, "No, it's happening at a toy store, Dad." Like. but uh, but yeah, no, he was taken back by the whole thing, and I think I expect that. Obviously, I don't expect the average person to understand, um, why I spent 100,000. I don't expect most collectors or anyone to understand why I spent 100 grand on a toy essentially. But um, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. There's definitely a bit of blowback. I think in certain ways of like, who is this moron that just spent 100 grand on a toy? So I expect that, and I think my family and friends probably have, at least the ones I've talked to, they probably feel the same way in the sense of like, why would you do that? Um, and it's hard to have those conversations with someone who's completely out of it. But like I said, I try to explain it as best as I can, but I don't expect it to get through to most people, to be honest with you.
It's funny you said that about your dad and bringing a gun and everything because as I was watching the video, and I'll link to the video below for people that haven't seen it. Frank actually filmed his whole transaction at Chalice Collectibles, but it felt like I was watching a movie scene, and I kind of halfway expected some kind of street bike gang to show up and take the money and the pops, because it gave me that feeling. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the mall was closed, and the store was closed, and the door was locked to the mall, and the doors were locked to the store. So there was a degree of like, and we struck the deal the night before the transaction happened. So it wasn't like there was like, the location and time was like leaked out a week in advance. So I felt pretty secure the whole time. But I'm also maybe I'm naive. I don't know.
This is just my imagination running wild. But also, when you mention about people, thinking it's crazy or moronic to spend 100K on the Funko Pops, they would have said the same thing when, if you would have purchased them for 10K a year or two ago when they first came
Yeah,
out, right? And now they're
exactly.
worth 10 times that.
Yeah, I think and I'm just taking just kind of making a broad stroke here of, if you look at any collectible market, whether it's bear bricks or Pokemon cards or baseball cards, whatever it is. I mean, even Beanie Babies. I mean, a Beanie Baby sold last week for 25 grand. The most valued Beanie Baby today is still worth like a $500,000. So it's like when you actually look at markets and you look at like the collectible markets in general, the rarest item, 100 grand is not that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a low. If put it this way, if Funko's rarest item during the duration of their popularity and the duration of their entire company existence and success, if their rarest item is worth 100 grand and that's where the ceiling is, that is super, super, super low and a gigantic anomaly in the collectible market. So I think, for me, I just don't think 100 grand is the ceiling. Um, so I mean, that's obviously my opinion and that's my gamble. But you know, you have Bear Bricks selling for 6 million, and there's a Pokemon card at auction right now that has 18 bids on it, and it's over $500,000. And it's like 100 grand doesn't sound that crazy when you actually consider some of the other things that are being sold in the collectible industry.
I think you just convinced me because one of my first thoughts was too, okay, 100 grand, I understand. The gold 2 pack is one of the rarest, if not the rarest Funko item out there that is maybe still available to buy. Because there might be something more rare, but where is it? Who has it? Who knows, right? Um, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially when you compare it to something like Beanie Babies, which is something that people like to compare Funko Pops to a lot, usually in an insulting manner. But like you
Yeah.
say, one of them just sold for a lot of money, and there's still a woman out there who you can send your Beanie Babies to, and she'll authenticate them and seal them up for you, and she does a lot of business. So obviously that market isn't dead, and arguably Funko Pops are just as popular as Beanie Babies were back in the late 90s. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Yeah. I mean,
surprised if this 2 pack is worth like maybe double that in a few years. Who knows?
yeah. Yeah. And I think, the thing with Funko is, their IPs, the fact that they're partnered with major established, you know, traditional decades old brands that have really, carved a path, whether it's, Marvel or Disney or Mickey or Star Wars. I mean, these are major IPs, and I think, that's the difference between them and Beanie Babies, is that I think even, these brands aren't going to go away. These IPs aren't going to disappear. And I think that helps prop Funko up into a position that, Beanie Babies weren't. Um, and, like I said, it's still a gigantic gamble. And I think, the thing that turned me on with my golden ticket in particular was it's the only known one with the ticket. There was 4 tickets. There's rumors about 2 of them being thrown away at the event itself. There's rumors of uh, number 4 of 10 supposedly still has its ticket, but no one has seen it since 2019. So like for me, it wasn't just buying the pop; it was like buying the whole lore, the whole story. Because to me, the ticket is part of that story. And it's called the golden ticket. Like for me, I refuse to buy one without the ticket accompanying it. That's just my preference. But that for me really put it over the top, and it made me feel like in certain ways this was actually like a one of one, which that's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to the criticism. I'm open. I understand why this seems like a crazy thing to do, but for me, I don't know. It just doesn't sound that crazy to me.
No, yeah, no. And hearing you explain it, it doesn't sound that crazy to me too. And the fact that you did get it with the golden ticket, I mean, maybe it's not equivalent, but I imagine that's like an old toy or maybe like an old rare GI Joe vehicle that still has the instructions, the sticker
Yeah,
sheet with it. Even if you peeled off the
for sure.
stickers, as a completionist collector, I really think that's a cool part of it. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of people did throw that away at the event. It seems like something someone would do that maybe isn't in the same mindset. So you got something very, very rare there. Was there any authentication process or anything, or did you just know these were real?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's real because you know, I think I sent this to you, but there's a photo from the 2016 Fun Days where there's 4 individuals on stage holding these things up, and mine is the second from the left. That individual in that photo, who I'm not going to say his name, he asked me not to, but I have a photo of him holding that up at the event. I have a photo of the guy that I bought mine from, um, buying it from him. So it's like, there's a photo trail there. It goes from the original owner to the guy I bought it from, standing with the original owner when he bought it, to me standing with the guy that I bought it from. So it's like, there's a very firm photo trail there. There's only been 3 owners.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So you have the proof of each owner, where it's been, and now you made a video of yourself acquiring it. So if you did need to pass it on in the future, you have all that. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too about it is that, I mean, this is the only numbered pop that Funko has ever produced, like actually manufactured. So it's like mine is number 2 of 10. Like if someone were to come out and make a counterfeit one, it's like I know 7 of the 10 owners. There's 3 that haven't been found. Um, so it's like if another number 2 popped up, or another number 9, for instance, which is owned by Rudy Camacho, like if that one popped up, I would know, like, okay, this one's not real because I know the actual owner. So the number almost acts like a serial of sorts, which is really helpful in this particular case because it allows us to track them and know which ones are real and which ones aren't. if that, if it ever comes to that.
I see. Yeah, I didn't realize that Funko had actually numbered each one. That's nice. I wish they would do that more, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So someone that watches my channel knows that I'm a stickler for mint boxes. How is the box on that one? Is it actually pretty mint?
Really, really, really good. Yeah, I was super impressed by it. The reason why I was so impressed by it is because this was handed out at an event in 2016, 2016 Fun Days, and the people that won these pops at the event, they didn't show up with, 2-pack cases, on the off chance they win it, So it had to be transported from the event onto, in my case, onto an airplane, I believe, and then flown, So the fact that that was done in a way where there's almost no noticeable damage at all on it is pretty impressive to me. Yeah, I was super, super impressed with the quality of the box. And it's relatively, it's not that old of a pop. It's not like a 2011 or 2010 pop. It's 2016, which isn't that old, but even still, like, yeah, I was really impressed with the quality of the box for sure.
Oh yeah, that is really nice, because I mean, there's been times where I've been at the mall and just trying to get the mall to my house. I've damaged boxes, so that is pretty impressive to make a whole trip, get on the plane, and arrive to you in perfect condition. You might even have the best condition one out there, when you think about it. If your box is mint, the other ones would have to be just as mint or worse, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I imagine. I'd like to think that anyone that won these things kept them in good shape. I think when you start to look at the older pops, when Funko wasn't really a prominent and successful company, those ones I can understand being more damaged, because who would have thought that 12 years later they'd be worth whatever, But I think this pop in particular, it's like, I think that I hope that everyone who won them kept them in good shape. There's rumors that one of the 10, I believe it was number 7, and I don't know this for certain, but I hear number 7 was actually, the box was actually destroyed by someone's nephew or niece. That's what I hear.
Oh my god! Oh no!
Yeah, but that's the only one that I've heard is in bad or non-existent quality. But yeah, I imagine the other ones are probably kept pretty well. I know number 9 is for certain. I know Rudy pretty well, and his looks really good too. So yeah, I don't know.
So stop me if this is secret, but that kind of leads into my next question. How do you plan to display this pop, or is it strictly, are you going to put this in a safe or safety deposit box somewhere?
It's sitting on my dining room table right
now. Oh my god! Does that make you nervous at all?
I literally have it like in between, like a plant on my table. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I like looking at it. Like literally, like I look at it all the time, and I just, rather than taking it in and out of my closet and looking at it, I was just like, I'm gonna keep it here for a second. I imagine it'll make its way into a safe soon for sure. That's definitely going to be the plan. But for now, I just want to look at it. And if it's, I mean, I don't know. I guess, yeah, it's not the smartest thing, just keeping it in the middle of my dining room. But I don't know. I just want to look at it.
So you are a fan. It's not just strictly about.
No, it's not at all. I've never been more excited to own anything in my life. Like literally, like when I handed over the cash and I got this pop, I did not feel like I handed over $100,000. I felt like I was getting something that I wanted. Like, yeah, I truly have never been more excited to own anything ever. Like literally. So I do think there's a responsibility to the community and like the market. Whenever a sale this big happens, you have to consider the finances, because it does affect other people, even especially indirectly. Everyone that owns a rare piece, I think $100,000 sale in this current market can really affect other pieces. So it's like, for me, there is a responsibility to consider that, and you have to think about the finances and the actual money behind it. But outside of that, responsibility to consider the market, I genuinely love this thing and I love owning it. So.
Yeah, that's one of the things I thought about when I first heard this news, and people, were doing what they do and going, oh man, that's crazy, that's dumb, whatever. I'm like, look, anybody that is a Funko Pop owner right now, even if your biggest grail is $100, the fact that this transaction went down, that this sale went down, is good for everybody. I mean, this really adds to the value of all of the Funko Pops, that there's sales like this going on. It makes people very, very interested in this. Like I said earlier, I had like my sister doesn't care from Funko Pops, and she immediately texted me this news going like, dude, isn't this nuts? Like she's like, you don't have any like that. I'm like, no, I definitely do not. But yeah, it really is something that's positive for the entire community. And you know how I really knew you were a Funko Pop fan for real and you weren't just in it because it was super rare or anything? I noticed in the video you have a Pocket Pop keychain. And I'm like, look, only people that are really big Funko fans have Pocket Pop keychains.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny you noticed that. Yeah. No, I love. I mean, I really do. Like, I do genuinely enjoy collecting, acquiring, having these things. Like, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't start off that way completely. Um, my original intent, just full disclosure, I was going to invest in Funko as a company. And when I started doing more research, I started gravitating to like the pops, and I started developing a taste for some of them. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to invest in the pops themselves, and not the company. So it started off mostly financial for me, but as soon as I got into it, I just like I fell in love with it kind of, and I think it's really cool, like being a part of a market that is dictated by pop culture and by passion. And I think like the Doctor Strange movie comes out and everyone's flipping out about like okay, which characters are going to be in the movie. It's like it's fun, like it's really fun, and I think it's become much more than finances. Even though I would say it started off more in that realm for me, and I think that's fine. Like I know people have problems with like anyone who gets into the collectible industry in general who's just strictly finance based or strictly money based. And I would say from the start I wasn't strictly money based, but it definitely started off more in that route, and it's definitely shifted almost completely to a passion and genuinely enjoying these things, and wanting to have more of them just because I enjoy it.
Yeah, see, like I know a lot of people, do get annoyed with that, but I've always been one that thinks the aftermarket is extremely important. Like if Funko Pops never would have gained value, say, about 4 or 5 years ago when some of them really started getting pretty pricey, over $1,000, stuff like that. If that would have never happened, I think the passion that people have now for them wouldn't be the same either. So you kind of need the financial side of it to drive the popularity of Funko, so Funko makes more pops that we can collect. So I think
For
it's a
sure.
symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, I think it's multifaceted. I don't think it's just, I think even if someone is a pure collector, which I know a few of those, some of the best collections on the planet are, obviously pure collectors that don't think about the finances at all. Most people aren't in that situation. Most people have to care about finances to some degree. Like, nobody wants to lose money doing anything, So I think even if it's not a conscious thought that's at the forefront of your mind, the financial aspect is a part of it. If you spend $3,000 on a Grail, you don't want that Grail to be worth 500 in a year. No one wants that. So, for me, as someone who's throwing larger amounts of money around, it has to be something that I think about probably more than the average pop buyer, because I do think it does affect other people, some of these purchases. But like I said, outside of that required responsibility, I genuinely enjoy having and collecting these things. Like it's yeah, I really enjoy it.
Do you think you would ever sell this one? Like, say somebody walked in to your living room there, saw that on your kitchen table, and goes, you know what, dude, I'll give you 300K for that right now. You think you would sell it?
No,
Yeah, I don't think I
I don't
would
think I
either,
would.
man.
I don't think I would. I don't think 300. Um, for two reasons. One, I want to hold on to it a little bit. I enjoy it, and I want to have it some more. The other thing is strictly finance. I don't think 300 is the top. I don't. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that is people who hear this would criticize me probably, but I don't see how me believing in Funko so much that I wouldn't sell one of their pops for $300,000 is something that's worthy of criticism. I think that's, for me, in my opinion, I think that's a noble viewpoint. I don't think this company or these pops have seen anything near the ceiling, and I wouldn't sell this thing. I wouldn't even think twice about holding on to it if someone offered me $300,000 for it.
Do you like when you mentioned the new Doctor Strange movie and how excited people were for those pops? Do you strictly keep it to Grails, or will you pick up a pop here and there that's say still brand new, still at retail, just because you want it, or maybe you think, hey, this might be rare in the future, anything like that?
No, I like Grails. I like the hunt a little bit. I like the hunt in. That's funny. Yeah, I like the hunt. In the case of the golden ticket, there wasn't a lot of hunt, but I do enjoy the hunt, and I do enjoy more the rare pieces in general. For me, I like the lore and the story. I like, the first pop I bought was a 2010 San Diego Comic-Con blue metallic Batman, for
Oh,
480
nice.
piece, and I just loved knowing that this thing is 12 years old. This pop is 12 years old. It's seen a lot of shit,
Yeah.
and it's like the fact that the box was in such good shape and someone like nurtured it and cared it for it is kind of cool, like I like that history. I like, yeah, the newer ones are cool. I have the diamond glitter Batman one that came out like a month or two ago, which I like a lot. But I really like the lore and the story and the history behind some of the older ones and just some of the Grails in general.
Would you consider that metallic Batman your favorite Grail that you own, or what would be like the one Grail besides this Willy Wonka 2-pack of all the other Grails that you own, and say you could only save one of them because your apartment was, or your wherever you live is on fire or whatever, and you can only save one of them? Which one would it be?
The red metallic Stanley.
Oh, nice.
Which I know is, there's that custom versus non-custom conversation regarding it. I don't really care. I love that pop. I love the fact that it's signed. It comes with a COA. I know Stanley signed everything when he was alive, but he won't be signing anything moving forward.
Yeah.
God bless his soul. But yeah, I think, I just like that pop a lot. I've always gravitated. I actually own the full set. I had red, gold, and silver. I sold it, and I have since acquired just the red one. But yeah, I really do love, I just love that pop. So that would be the one I'd probably hold on to.
Now, of course, if this is secret, I understand, but are there any other major Grails you're on the hunt for right now?
Clockwork, yeah, Clockwork Orange. Both the chase and the non-chase. I think the non-chase is more rare and harder to find from what I hear. But yeah, definitely Clockwork. I'm not really a huge Freddy Funko guy, but I would definitely like to have the metallic Freddy Stark, the 12 piece. I'm trying to think what else. Blueberry Glow in the Dark would be cool. Dumbo Clown would be cool. I just got a Griffey bronze yesterday, actually, nice. Which I really, really like. I think Funko hasn't really tapped into the sports market completely yet, and I think that's going to be the next thing to pop off. No pun intended. But Clockwork is definitely something on the list. I haven't actively hunted it down as hard as I could. I've just been really busy. But that's something that's on the horizon, I think, for sure.
Now, there is a video of somebody purchasing a Clockwork Orange Funko Pop. I believe it was by Cletus Selden. And I think he purchased that at a Comic-Con for like $30K.
13. So, it was 13.
Oh, yeah, $13K. That's right. Which seems, now that I think about it, seems low. Because that is extremely rare.
I would get 10 of them.
Yeah, that seems very low. Do you collect anything else? Sports cards, comic books, Pokemon cards, anything like that?
Yeah, I have Pokemon cards. They're at my father's. They're in my father's garage, actually. And I haven't looked at them in 10 years. But I mean, back in the day, I was a big Pokemon guy. I have some signed stuff in my closet. I got like Hank Aaron signed baseball and Mike Tyson signed boxing glove. I have a Joe Montana rookie card. Like, there's definitely some sports stuff I like, but nothing like this. Like, I've always liked collecting things, but the Funko world has really taken me, for sure. Like I feel like I'm in the Funko tornado for sure, more so than anything else I've acquired or collected. So yeah, definitely like some sports stuff, but I feel like at this point all of my resources and time, at least collecting wise, is going to to Funko for right now.
Do you have any advice for any other aspiring Funko Pop Grail collectors? Like, as far as like, do you buy these online? Do you mostly buy them in person? What advice would you give to somebody that wants to buy Grails that I would consider, top Grails, maybe over $5,000 a piece?
Yeah, I don't think that me throwing $100,000 at something automatically makes me qualified to give anybody advice, to be honest with you. And I think other people would probably say the same. But I will say this, that I value time. Okay, like time is literally money. Like, if for me at least, maybe some other people have more time than money. For me, I just don't have any time. So I think when it comes down to hunting pops, people should consider the amount of time they're spending and dedicating to it. For me, I could have found this was the only golden ticket that I could find that has a ticket. Number 4 has a ticket. I spent about, I want to say 15 to 20 hours hunting down number 4. I had no luck. I think it would probably take me a year and maybe 200 hours to find number 4. And that's how long it takes with some of these hunts. I know a guy who's been negotiating for a clockwork for a year. I don't have that time. If I spent 200 hours hunting down a golden ticket, number 4 in particular, and I value my time at like $250 an hour, I would have spent 50 grand in time hunting down that pop. And and then I have to gamble on the fact that, hopefully this guy even wants to sell once I find him, and hopefully he sells at a reasonable price. So when I actually look at it, that might be more than $100,000 when you consider the time. Meanwhile, I know a guy who has number 2 and he has the ticket. I can just go to him right now and pay him 100 grand, or I can wait a year and potentially pay more than 100 grand in time and money, and hopefully and then pray the guy even wants to sell it. So I think in general, when you're hunting for grails, at least for me, I consider the time. Like, the time is actually money. And I know people say that as an expression. It's the actual truth. And I think people should consider the amount of time that they're spending hunting the grail, and even make estimates. Like, I think this might take 10 hours. This might take 20 hours. This might take 50 hours to find, and really break it down, in a way that, converts to money. Because that's what I did in this particular case.
All right, Frank. So I got one final question for you. If Funko were to make a Funko Pop of you, Frank the Grail Collector, what would it look like? What would it be holding? Would it have a chase? Anything like that?
It would be someone setting money on fire.
Oh, that would be nice. Like the little pop buddy on the side, little pile of cash with
at least according to the community. Yeah, at least if you ask the community, it would be someone setting money on fire and an extremely common pop that no one probably wants.
All right, man. So I would like to thank you for coming on and letting me interview you. You guys listening, I'm going to link Frank's channel. Really cool guy. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, man.